In this last project here in chapter 6, I'm going to give you another opportunity to prove to me just how creative you are and how much you love this Photoshop stuff. So I'm going to go to Browse in Bridge. We're going to take a look at the files that we have available for the Brickfest convention posters. So I'm going to go to my desktop here in Adobe Bridge. I will go into my files and chapter 6. I showed you a bunch of samples of other posters that students have done, so now it's time to create our own. I'm going to double click right there, and you have 3 posters to choose from. You either have a Marvel Lego figures, you have DC heroes, or you have Lego Friends. So let's say I want to go with Marvel. Okay, here's your poster. Number 1, your Brickfest poster. So I can double click that. And there's my poster layout. Don't have anything yet, but that's the idea. I come back to Bridge. Here is my type. Okay, I'm also going to put this in a Microsoft Word file. You'll have another Word file for those who are PC users, but since I'm on my Mac right here, I'll double click that one. And we have our text. Brickfest Live text for your poster layout. So everything from here on down needs to go in your poster. Okay? So we'll just keep that off to the side for right now. Part of your poster has to include one image of a kid. So I've got Jonah Pics. You can do this one, or cut out this one, or cut out that really excited one, or cut out this one, or that one, whatever one you want. But you got to cut out one of these as part of your poster. Then I'll come back to my Marvel poster. I also have Lego boxed set pics. So if you want to show some of the different Lego brands, they have Lego Castle, Lego Creator, Lego Friends, Lego City, Lego Galaxy Squad, Lego Jurassic Park, DC Heroes, Marvel Heroes, Lego Chima, Lego City, Lego Harry Potter. So if you wanted to show some of the brands, but if your poster focuses on Lego Marvel, why show Lego Star Wars? Okay, so I've given you more than what you could possibly use. Here's some Lego display pics. These are typical displays you would see at a convention like Brickfest. If you want to put some of those in there, great. You don't have to. Here's the Lego Marvel figures. Most of these are either on white backgrounds or these empty backgrounds like this. So they're all ready to go, easy to cut out. And you also have the Lego Marvel logo. So there's the official Lego logo. There's Lego Marvel Superheroes. There's the Pasadena Convention Center where it's going to take place. I also gave you Lego Marvel vehicles. If you want to throw a vehicle into your layout, that's fine too. Avengers Mansion or Black Panther vehicles, Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever you want. Or you don't have to include any of these vehicles. It's totally up to you. And then I also gave you Lego pieces. So this could be a background, or this could be a background where you could have type right across the white bar, type across the red bar if that worked for your layout. I've got different backgrounds right here if one of those work for your layout. It is totally up to you. I've given you more than what you can use. Okay, so just to show this, I'm going to go with these Lego pieces, and I'm going to take this one right here. I'll double click, and I could go to Image menu, Image Rotation 90 degrees. I take my Move tool, drag it up, drop it in, and I can lay that down right there. Of course, that's a really busy background. If I try to put type over that, it's going to be almost impossible to read. So what I can do is darken it. Okay, we'll come to my background and I'll click right here and let's pick a shade of kind of teal color right in here. Edit, fill the background with the current foreground color. There's my teal. Now I can turn on these photos and just drop the opacity down. So I get a very lightly screened backdrop of Legos. That would be easy to read on top of, read type on top of that. Okay, I could click here, go in with an even darker poster, go to edit, fill that background again, and I'd have an even darker layout. Okay, that's some ideas that you could play off of. Then I go to my type. I would work on your type first. We got to get type in the poster. Okay, so one of the other things that I want to look at is when I come into Adobe Bridge and I look at my main poster layout here. If I go to box sets, notice how Lego does their branding. Lego logo is always in the upper left, upper left, upper left, upper left. That's just how their branding works. So if I go back to my poster and I go to Lego Marvel logo, here's the Lego brand logo. I can take my move tool, drag it up and drop it in the upper left. Command T or Control T on a PC to transform, and I'll put that right up there, as is typical with the Lego brand. Okay, we got that. I like these white letters with black outlines, so I want to mimic that right here with the name of this poster, Brickfest Live. I'm going to highlight my text, go to Edit and Copy. Then I come back to my file. I'm going to click once on my type tool. First, I'm going to hit D for default colors. Then I'm just going to click and go to Edit, Paste. Okay, there we go. Brickfest Live, there we go. So now I go to my move tool. I've got Brickfest Live. But I want that to fill out that space a little more. So right here, as soon as you go to your move tool, you will see a capital T for that type layer. Brickfest Live is what I typed out on this layer. I can double click the T to highlight the type. Here's your character panel. And your character panel is usually with your paragraph panel. So I want my type to be a little bigger. Instead of Futura, I might want to go with Impact. I can highlight the size right there, and I'll hit the up arrow and blow up the type a little bigger, like that. So Brickfest Live, Lego Brickfest Live. Okay, I'm going to double click the T there again. Maybe make that type just a little bit smaller by hitting my down arrow, because not only do I want my type to show up right there, but I want this type to look like the Lego type. So I'm going to double click the T. Right up here is the color of my type. I want that to be white, just like it says on Lego. And remember, to the right of any layer, you can double click and you can start adding layer styles. So we can see on the Lego brand, they have a black outline and a yellow outline. So I'm going to click on stroke. Here's the color. I'll make it black. Then I can click this little plus. I can add a new stroke. So I go to the bottom one, click on that, and we'll make it yellow. I can jump out here and sample and steal that yellow. And now the size, I'll go even larger right there. So I'm kind of mimicking the same look. Okay, if the word Lego is italicized, I can double click right here And Impact doesn't have an italic version of the font, but I can do faux italic. Kind of fake it. There we go. Lego Brickfest Live. Okay, I want this to kind of read a little more evenly, so I'm going to put Brickfest Live over here. Click on my Lego brand logo and hit Command T on my Mac or Control T on a PC. And I'll just bring that over so it's about the same size as my type right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I'll just slide it back over, drag it down into the corner, away from the corner. Lego Brickfest Live. It kind of reads as one. All right, cool. Now that I've got Lego Brickfest Live, that's just the name of the show. Now I need to tell people where it is and when it is and what's so special about the show. It's the most hands-on attractions. So I want to add that first. Lego Brickfest Live. Let's go here. I'm going to add a brand new layer and I'm going to call this Top Banner Bar. I'll just go in with my rectangle marquee and I'm going to click and drag right across there. Maybe a bar like that. And just for added sake, I'm going to make that a black bar, kind of pick up on some of the color. Option and delete on my Mac. That would be Alt and backspace on my PC. Command D to deselect or Control D on a PC. And I don't want to cover the Lego logo, so I'm going to drop this bar down. There we go. So the Lego has a little bit of overlap. I can come back to Adobe Bridge and let's go back to my main poster. I'm going to highlight this line, the most hands-on attractions. Edit and copy. Now I jump back to Photoshop. Let's take my type tool and first just click anywhere on the page. Click, edit, paste. Now I go to my move tool. I can move that in. It's way too big. Double click to highlight the type. Maybe I don't want the type to be Impact anymore. I'll go in with a different font. Like on my computer, I have Futura. On yours, you might have Arial or whatever other type you want. Times. Highlight the size and hit the down arrow so we shrink that line of text down. Always switch to my move tool and we'll move that up right there. That's still a little bit too long, so I double click the T to highlight it. Highlight the size and hit the down arrow key on my keyboard. So bring that down a little bit right there. The most hands-on attractions. All right. So now let's see what else do I have. Let me go back to Bridge and go back to my type here. Pasadena Convention Center. All right, let's go Pasadena, California first. Edit, copy, come back to my poster. I'll take my type tool, click, edit, and paste again. Go to my move tool, and let's say we want that right there. So we'll move this line down, and what you do is just kind of work your images, work your details into your layout right here. Okay, I can double click the T for that line of type. Instead of it being white, maybe I'll pick red. That's a little bit too much. Let's set it to yellow right there. I kind of like that. All right, Lego Brickfest Live, Pasadena, California, the most hands-on attractions. So now I can come back to my type one more time. Let's take my type file right here and just kind of stick it off to the side so I don't lose it. There we go. Pasadena Convention Center, right there. Edit, copy, And now I'll come back over here, take my type tool, click, edit, and paste. You want to do each line as its own separate block. That way you have the ability to move these around block by block. Okay. Let's see, Pasadena, California. Okay, I don't want to put this right up here because we just said Pasadena. So maybe I'll put this down here, Pasadena Convention Center. Okay, let's go back into my type here again. I don't know why I keep losing that window. There we go. July 29th and 30th. Edit, copy. Now I'll jump back into Photoshop again. Take my type tool again, click, edit, paste. Now, I don't want people to forget when this convention is going to happen. So I'm going to highlight that type. We'll change it from times back into impact. That's a big, bold, simple font. And I'm going to highlight the size and hit the up arrow. I do not want people to forget the date of this event. July 29th through the 30th, or July 29th and the 30th. Okay. What I want to do is some layer styles on this. So to kind of have that connection, I'm going to double click right here, double click the T. Instead of yellow type, I will make that white. And then I like how I did the black and yellow outlines up here. I want the same black and yellow outlines down here. So notice right here, Brickfest Live, I added those effects. If I put my cursor right on the word effects and I hold my Option or Alt key for copying, I can hold the Option or Alt key, drag the word effects, and drop it right onto the date. I let go of the mouse first, and I have now copied that effect. Lego Brickfest Live will be July 29th and 30th. Pasadena Convention Center. There we go. Awesome. If I want a little more balance, let's see. I can double click this T. So the type Brickfest Live is 76 points. So I might want to come down here, double click the T, and match that. 76 points. There we go. Alrighty. If my Lego logo is in the upper left, let's balance that by putting another logo in the lower right. So right here, Pasadena Convention Center. I will go back to Adobe Bridge. I have my logos right here, including the Pasadena Convention Center. So I'll drag that up, drop that in, Command T on a Mac or Control T on a PC, and kind of balance out the layout right here. There we go. So now I've got a Lego logo in the upper left, bringing another logo in the lower right, Pasadena Convention Center. And when you get to this point, if it gets repetitive, take a line out, like right here, Pasadena Convention Center. Why put it there when it says Pasadena Convention Center? That's too repetitive. So I'm just going to dump that line of type. Don't need it. I'm telling you right here, it's at the Pasadena Convention Center. Okay? Now I want to figure out what other text do I have to fit on here. So we have Pasadena, California. We don't need Pasadena Convention Center. We pretty much said that. The most hands-on attractions. Let's see, for tickets. For tickets and info, go to brickfestlive.com. Edit, copy. Now when I come out here, I'll take my type tool, click, and I'll go to edit and paste. Okay. I click once over here. Now it tells me what I've typed on that layer. Double click the T, and I want something really simple. So Up here, instead of Times, I can go Futura if you have that font, or Arial if you have that. I think everybody has Arial. And I'm going to set that to Arial Bold right there. We'll highlight the size and start hitting the down arrow. I just want a simple line of text to go right across the bottom, which means now I got to click on my type, shift click my logo, and just move those up a little bit more, right about there. Now I can click on this type, put it right down there, and that's getting a little bit too much yellow, so I'm going to double click the T for type. I'll change that color of the type back to white, right there. I always go to my move tool when I'm done. For tickets and info, this is the last thing. You want to sell your idea of the show. So by the time people read to the bottom, they'll be like, yeah, I want to go to this. For tickets and info, go to brickfestlive.com. Cool. I don't want that to stand out as much, so I'm going to double click the T to highlight it, and instead of bold type, we'll set it to regular. It's going to make it just a little thinner so it doesn't have so much of that weight to it. Let's see, what else do I want? Maybe another divider bar, like this black bar above. I might go with a gradient instead. So I'm going to start right here. I'll create a brand new layer, and I'm going to call this bottom gradient. D for default colors. Here's my gradient tool. Right up here, when I click that triangle, I have a list of gradients. So basic gradients. I can go black to white or black to nothing right there. Okay, so I'm going to start my gradient right about here at the type. Hold shift, and that allows me to go straight up. So I kind of see a preview. Shift key allows me to go up. So I want the gradient to end right about there. Hit return and click OK. There's my gradient. I like that. That looks pretty good. All right. So now let's see what else I can add to give this a little more design flair to it. Let's go to the top banner. Double click to the right. Let's add a stroke to that. And I'm going to make that stroke white right there. I like that. Let's drop that down a little bit. Just a thin little outline right there. Add a little brightness back up at the top. Now I can come back into Adobe Bridge. I'll come back into my character. I need a character representative of somebody who would go to one of these conventions. So let's take this one right here. Double click. Now what I do is I go to a selection tool, select the subject. I'll jump over to the right, select and mask. There he is. I will view him on black. I want smart radius, and I set the radius to 1 for these loose hairs. I want to shift the edge to the left about -6 or 7%. I want to decontaminate my colors, and now I'm ready to do my editing. So there is my refine edge brush. I'm just going to refine the edges around his hair. So I'll click and drag and let go. Click and drag right here. Find some of these loose hairs. Right down to there. Let go. That's a pretty clean head of hair. So I'll click OK. Now remember, that comes in with a layer mask. So what you want to do is go to your brush, hit D for default colors, X for black, and I'll just make my brush a little smaller. Make sure I'm painting at 100% black, 100% opacity, and I'm going to scrape off any pixels right across the top. scrape off any pixels down the side and along the bottom. Right there, scrape off any pixels going up the side. I don't want any weird outlines showing up around this kid. So once I'm done, click on the layer mask, click the trash, and apply. Now I can switch to my move tool, move him up, drop him in. Okay, that is way too big. So Command T on a Mac or Control T on a PC will bring him down in size a little bit right there. Maybe put him off to the side right in there. That looks pretty good. There we go. Hit return, and now I can start incorporating other elements. So maybe I drop him under the gradient. So he kind of just appears out from underneath like that. Okay, I don't need that anymore. We're doing Marvel Heroes. So I'm going to come here to the Lego Marvel logo. And we want the Lego Marvel Superheroes. Now keep in mind, I already added the Lego logo right up there. I don't need another one down here. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I take my move tool. Let's make sure I'm on that layer. Let's put it above. There we go. Command T to transform, or Control T to transform on a PC. And I'm going to put that down here for now. I'll hit enter or return. I don't need the other Marvel logo, so I can drag a selection marquee right there and delete it. I already said Lego once. And let's look at our type. It says, meet the Lego Marvel Heroes live. Cool. Well, I just want meet the, because Marvel Superheroes. So I'm just going to go ahead and type that. Take the capital T, click, meet the, go to my move tool. We'll move this down right here. Double click the T so I highlight my type. There's my font. We'll go Arial Bold. And we'll make that font a little bigger by hitting the up arrow. There we go. Meet the Marvel Superheroes. I'll take the T for type, click again and say live. Always go to my move tool so I can move that into place. Maybe I double click the T to highlight the type, and I'll set that type to impact again. It's got a big, bold look to it. I can highlight the size and hit the up arrow right there. Now I go to my move tool, and I want this to kind of create this little rectangular space right here. That's kind of cool. But let's see. I'm going to click, shift click, and then I can move that whole block. So we'll put it right down in, let's see. Do I want it down here? Do I want it up there? I want it kind of tied with the character. So let's put it right here for now. Let's go right there. Okay, meet the Marvel Superheroes live. I'm going to double click this T. I don't want the word live in black, so I can click the color of my type. Maybe we'll set that to the same red right here. Click. There we go. I can double click the T for meet the, and instead of black type, maybe I'll set that to the yellow from the Lego logo. Add a lot of colorful flair right in there. Remember, to the right of any layer, I can double click. I can add a stroke around that type. Instead of white, I'll make it black. Instead of going thin, we'll make it nice and bold right there, outside of the type. Okay, I want the word live to kind of have the same effect, so I hold Option or Alt key for a copy and I drag the effects to live. There we go. So they all match. All right, meet the Marvel superheroes live. So now that I have that, let's go get some Marvel superheroes. I'm going to go to Bridge, come back up here, and let's go in with the Lego Marvel figures. One of the big guys here is the Hulk. Double click, take my magic wand, I'll click right there, select menu, inverse, so now I have the Hulk. You always switch to your move tool so I can move him up, wait a second, and drop him in. And boy, that doesn't look too big. So what I'm going to do is name that layer Hulk, and I'm going to drop him down below my type. Okay, if I don't know what layer 4 even is, turn off the eyeball. Okay, Marvel Heroes logo. Start naming your layers. Now I can put the Hulk way down, Command T to transform on a Mac or Control T on a PC. And if I hold my Option or Alt key, I will keep him centered. I want him right about there. That looks cool. Hit return. I don't want his feet sticking out, so I'm just going to take my rectangle marquee, drag a little box over the lower half, and delete his feet. Cool. Now I go back to Adobe Bridge. Let's add a couple other characters. Maybe I want, let's see, Black Panther. I'll double click that. Take my magic wand and click outside the figure. Go to select and inverse. Always switch to your move tool. And I can move him up and over. And maybe we'll stick him behind the Hulk's shoulder. So we'll drag him down, Command T or Control T to transform him, and maybe I'll rotate him out a little bit right there, kind of peeking out from behind. And let's go get a couple other characters here. Since we're saying meet the Marvel Lego Heroes, plural, let's see, do we have a Captain America? Yeah, that's the old version of Captain America. So let's take Spidey. He's always colorful. That has already been cut out for me. Beautiful. Drag and drop him right there. I like his size. Command T, maybe I rotate him, or you know what? That's Spider-Man. Let's rotate him all the way around and stick him up here, or stick him out of the side, like coming out from behind this banner right there. That's cool. Okay, we'll just stick him up, kind of peeking out right there. Kind of goofing around like Spider-Man does. If I see his feet sticking out like that up above, go to your rectangle, drag a box over his feet, and delete the feet. Let's go get one more here. Go over to Bridge, and maybe we'll grab Iron Man. Go to my move tool, move him up, drag him in. We'll put him right there. Command T or Control T on a PC. Maybe we'll pop him out a little bit more right there. There we go. And I think that's going to be good. So I have a few other lines and a few other bits of information here. So what are some of the other things you can see at this? Giant brick pits, a glow zone, a graffiti wall, derby races. You know, as you design, leave space for some of those elements. You could put all 4 right here, or you could put some Lego packaging. So if I come back up here, I'll go to Lego boxed sets. I don't want people to just think this is a Marvel convention, because people who like Lego Star Wars are going to be like, well, we're not represented. Or people who like Lego Chima are saying, well, we're not represented. Or Lego City. So let's show some of the other brands that come with this. Okay, I can take my magic wand, click on the white, select an inverse, always switch to the move tool. We'll drag that up. Command T or Control T on a PC to transform. I'll just put a couple little packages right here, just to kind of show there are other brands associated with Lego, not just Marvel heroes. So let's take Lego Creator. Let's take Lego City. I love that brand. Click outside and notice the white kind of bled into this white right here. So maybe I want to ditch that. Let's go with another one that's easier to cut out. Let's try, okay, Lego Creator. Here we go. Click, shift click, shift click, shift click. We got to get all those corners. Select an inverse. Go to my move tool. We can move that box up and drop it in. Command T or Control T on a PC. So we'll stack a couple of Lego brands here. Maybe we'll do 3 boxes just to add a little more color to our layout. Let's see, Lego Star Wars. Double click. Click outside. Select an inverse and always switch to your move tool. And we'll drop that one in there too. Command T on a Mac or Control T on a PC. We can transform that box as well, right about there. Give a little bit of packaging design to the layout. And I'll hit enter or return. So now I've got some room to play around right here. I've got a little bit more room for those 4 other lines of text. You know, there's also a giant brick pit, a glow zone, a graffiti wall. You know, I'm going to keep that for now. I still have room to play with right there. But let's jump into Bridge and look at some of the Lego Marvel vehicles. Okay, I maybe want a little ship flying in here. So, ooh, let's go with that one. Let's go with the Quinjet. No, that's not the Quinjet. That's the Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, double click. I don't want these other characters. I just want this jet. So I'm going to hit D for default colors. I'm going to take my brush, make it a big brush, and I'm going to hit X for white. Just going to paint out these other characters. I don't want them as part of this scene. Just get rid of them all. Now I take my magic wand, click, select an inverse, always switching to the move tool, and I've got a great little jet that I can drag into my layout. So I might put it here, or I want it turning and going the other way. So that's edit, transform, and flip it horizontally. There we go. So I have this kind of coming in to the layout right here. I can hit Command T or Control T on a PC, and we'll just come in with a smaller little jet kind of flying in there right there. Don't want to cover his hand too much. So let's go with that. But I want that to have a sense of movement to it, not just kind of floating in the air. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to put it right there. Then I'm going to hit Command J or Control J on a PC. That makes a copy. What I do with that copy is filter, blur, motion blur. And I'm going to make the angle the same angle as our jet right there. Right about there. I click OK. Let's zoom in on that. And all I have to do is move these pixels back a little bit or tuck them under the jet. So they kind of trail off the back end of that little jet right there. Looks kind of cool. Okay, just keep in mind you have the trail and then you shift click the jet, and now I can move that up so it's coming in from the side, or it's coming in from wherever you want. I probably wouldn't put it over his face. So maybe we'll have that coming down right across that area right there. All right. And then feel free to play around with anything else. I still have room for those little other bits of text. Like I keep referring back to this. You're going to have a giant brick pit. So let's do it. I'll highlight all 4 of those lines. Edit, copy. Now I'll come over here, take my type tool and just click. Edit, paste. Go to my move tool, and I don't want those being so big. I want to put them down here. So I can double click the T. I'm going to go to my character panel. We'll make that type impact again. Now let's make it Arial, bold, italic. Just kind of fit in there a little bit. Highlight the size and hit the down arrow right there. I'm going to line those up on my paragraph panel, line them up on their left edges, and with my move tool, we'll move them in right there. Got a giant brick pit and all that stuff. That's cool. I can throw in a couple other Marvel characters because now I really have room to play around. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm starting to see some more possibilities here. Okay. I jump in and let's zoom out here so we can see that. Jump back into bridge. I don't have any other real cool flying vehicles. Maybe this flying car, but I don't really know if that goes well with my flying jet. So let's just put a couple other characters. Here's my Lego Marvel figures. I got Doctor Strange. He looks like he's kind of flying in the air, so I'll double click there. Take my magic wand and click. And it doesn't look like it got a good selection around there. Okay, so here's what you want to test. Select an inverse, go to your move tool, and when you move it, see if there's little chunks that are missing, like a little chunk of that shield. You could see it missed part of that shield. So I'm going to go to Edit and Undo. If I want to visually see my selection, I zoom in and hit Q. This is showing me what I'm selecting. See, I'm missing part of that shield down here. So it's D for default colors, X to switch to white, and I'm going to paint some white. Don't take away from the shield. Right here, that spell. I just keep calling it a shield because it reminds me of Captain America. But I'm going to go click, shift, click, shift, click, shift, click, shift, click, shift, click. Right around those edges there. I want to click and shift click around those edges right across the top right there. I can come in with a really small brush and hit X for black. We'll cover up this little gap between his body, and we'll go right over in there, kind of cover up that little empty spacing right there. X for white. We'll open up that area right there, open up that area right there, and now I'm going to have a pretty good selection around this guy. Let's zoom back out. Q for quick mask, and now I'm ready to take my move tool and move Doctor Strange up and over. Command T or Control T on a PC, and I can shrink that down a little bit so he's kind of coming in from the side right there. Looks cool. Maybe we'll add one more right in here if I have room to play with those things. So let's do one more. Who else is kind of flying around here? We'll go with the Wasp. Double click, take my magic wand and click outside, select an inverse, and you always switch back to your move tool. And we'll have the Wasp kind of standing on his shoulder right there We'll just hit Command T or Control T on a PC to kind of shrink her down a little bit. Right about in there. Cool, now I've populated this area with some nice brighter colors. I showed some of the other brands that are also available for people who love Legos. I can instantly read it's a Lego Brick Fest live. It's at Pasadena. Where in Pasadena? Pasadena Convention Center. When? That's some of the biggest type on here. If I really like Marvel Lego figures, I'm going to go and look at brickfestlive.com. That's a real website. Go check it out. I emphasize Pasadena because they have stops in different locations across the country. So keep that in mind. We want to emphasize this is the one that's stopping in Pasadena. Okay. I can do any other added effects, like maybe click on the Hulk, double click to the right. I can give him an outer glow. Maybe I'll switch that from red to white. There we go. Maybe we'll set that bright colors in screen mode. I'll add the size and make that a little less just to add a little definition to the edge of that character right there. That looks pretty good. Okay, if I hold my, well, I don't even have to hold my option key. Let's just go find another character. Click on Black Panther. See, I'm losing track because I'm not naming my layers, which is kind of bad. Double click on the right. Just click on Outer Glow. It'll copy the same settings. I'll click on Spider-Man. Double click on the right. Click on Outer Glow. It just keeps copying the same setting. Let's click on Iron Man. Double click on the right. We'll add another Outer Glow. And if I want to be consistent, let's click on Doctor Strange. Double click on the right. We'll give him that Outer Glow. I'll click on the Wasp. Double click on the right. And we'll set all our little Lego characters with little glowing effects just to get them to kind of look a little more fanciful right here. Okay, that's kind of cool. And there you go. So what I have failed to mention, and I should have announced this much sooner, is that I should have been saving my progress the whole time. Okay, don't forget to save your progress. But this one is pretty much done. I don't think I'm going to make any more changes. So when I'm done, File menu, Save a Copy. I'm going to click on my desktop, and that is going to be Nielsen Chris, or last name, first name, Brick Fest Poster. I will save it. If I want to go back and make changes in the future, save your layers as a Photoshop file. Now I close this up. I don't need to save that. Now I go to File and Open, and on my desktop is my poster with my layers in case I want to go back and make changes in the future. Now when I'm ready to turn it in, File menu, Save a Copy. That copy will always be a JPEG on my desktop at high quality, or 8. And there we go. That's how you build a little promotional convention poster here in Photoshop. So I look forward to seeing how creative, how playful you can be with either Lego Marvel heroes, Lego DC heroes, or Lego Friends. Have fun with it. Convince me to go to your convention. That's what I'm looking for. Sell me on the idea of going to Lego Brick Fest Live. All right, see you at the show.